Hello everyone and welcome to this Wave 11 unboxing from the World of Tanks miniatures game. We've got these models here with us right now and we're really excited to look forward to this brand new wave and see what we've got coming for us. First of all, I am Brendan Mills from Griffin Gaming and joined with me today is...
I am Ian from Gus the Hut.
That's right. We've been doing a few of these unboxings now.
We have.
And hey, I'll tell you what, every single time we do it, we are just as excited as the times before. So we're going to get...
Tonks!
Yes.
Who doesn't love tonks?
Tonks. We're going to get straight into it and we're going to look at the 4 tanks. So we've got on the American side, we've got the Sherman Jumbo. The reflection on this camera isn't great, but we'll do our best. The Germans are coming in with the Jagdpanther. I said that right, didn't I? I think so. And the British have got the Achilles.
Yes.
And the Russians have got the Loza M4A2 Sherman.
Yes. So yeah, a lot of American engineering going on in this wave.
Yes.
Apart from the Germans, obviously.
Yeah, they wouldn't have that.
No. So yeah, these are literally all American engineered tanks, but loaned out and modified by other nations.
Yes. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to basically get into it now. So what tank would you like to start with?
I think we'll leave the this one for last because that's the one that everybody sort of really wants to look at. So yeah, we'll leave the Jagdpanther for last. Let's go with the Jumbo.
Okay, we'll go with the Jumbo. Right. So first of all, noting what we all have come to see recently since Wave 10
yes.
is the multiple language pack for the British release tank.
And this is not a new thing overall. Other countries have had
yes.
this set up for a while. It's just the first time we've seen it in the UK releases.
Yeah, since Wave 10.
Since Wave 10, yeah.
That's right. And the tank platoon expansion packs. So we've got, inside his, we've got the language cards for British, French, German and Polish. And there's nothing really different to note on the back at all. Apart from, this is a sticker. So clearly something has changed. I'll do a close-up of that. Clearly something has changed that they needed to do some form of...
Something in the terms and conditions that needed to be added that wasn't on the label previous, I would imagine.
Yeah, but let's get into it. Right, we're going to move these tanks. Okay, this, as always, they're made in Malaysia. A lot of people think they're made where Battlefront miniatures are, which is New Zealand, which they're not. So.
Oh, interesting.
Right, we've got the tank, and we've got... It's missing its turret. We've got the tank, and we've got the cards. Let's get the tank out. Let's have a look at the tank. I'm going to pass this over to my colleague to have a look at the tank and see what you can see on it.
Yeah, so this is very reminiscent of the Easy 8 chassis. So it's got that more sort of angular look to it.
Yes.
I don't know much about the history of this particular tank. I'm going to quickly cheat and look at the blurb on the back of the card.
Yes, that's always helpful.
So the heavy armoured assault variant of the M4A3. The vehicle featured the additional 38mm armour plates, enhanced transmission, compartment hatch, and the new turret, which enhanced armour. It was developed on the basis of the T-23 turret. So, yeah, it's a Sherman.
It is a Sherman.
There's only so much variation that we can get between the various different types of Sherman.
That's correct.
But it just goes to show what a good design it actually was. That it served every function that the Allies' war machine needed it to serve.
Yes.
And it was an infinitely customizable chassis.
Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to look at the stat card now, and as you can see, starting from along the top, you've got the M4A3E2 Sherman Jumbo, and that is a tier 6 tank in the World of Tanks computer game way of doing it. It is a medium tank, which means you can re-roll your attack die, and it costs 44 points. I'll quickly go through the whole card first, and then we'll compare that to the M4A1 Sherman, which is the basic Sherman from the Americans. So it's got a firepower of 4, so it's in that mid-level range, and it's a survivability of 2, which is actually really nice on a Sherman.
Yeah, so this is what they were saying in the blurb about the main modifications to this tank were the extra layers of armour plating from the front.
Yeah.
So as a defensive tank actually goes on a budget, it's not actually bad.
Not bad at all. Mobility 2, which is what you would expect from a medium tank, an average costing tank as well. And the initiative is right there in the middle with initiative 5, which is a little bit less than the original Sherman, but yeah. But as you have alluded to, as the back of the card said, it has got 5 hit points for that as well. So if we do a direct comparison here with the M4A1 Sherman, you've got 37 points, and you get 4, 1, 2, 6, and 4. On the 44 points, you get 4, 2, 2, 5, 5. Basically, you're dropping that initiative by 1, but you're gaining 1 survivability and 1 hit point. That is well worth the 7 points. Sorry, the 8 points it costs you for actually taking this tank in there. The extra survivability, the extra hit point, but you're only dropping 1 initiative.
We should also compare it to the Easy 8 as well, which is 45 points, and it's very similar stats to the...
Literally the only difference between the
M4A1
Easy 8 and that is the firepower. The Easy 8 has got 5 firepower, but 1 less survivability. So, sorry, yeah, those are the 2 differences. The hit points are the same, the initiative is the same, and the mobility is the same. Basically, the Easy 8 gives you 1 additional firepower, but 1 less survivability.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't swap the Jumbo out for the M418. I might consider swapping it out for a Easy 8 though.
Yeah, if you're on that, if you have a choice and you're playing a game where you're going to be more attacking than defensive, then yeah, the Easy 8 wins over on this one.
Yeah. Yeah, if you're playing the long game though, and you like objective camping, the Jumbo's a good way to go.
Yes. Yeah, that survivability will really help. Right, now we're going to go over to the upgrade cards. Now, the reflection isn't the best here, so I will apologise. These are really high glossy cards. And what we have here is we have the gun module. This is the 105mm M4. It costs 1 point and can be fitted to, this is interesting, this can be fitted to the M4A1 Sherman, the M4A3E2 Sherman Jumbo, and can be fitted to the Easy 8.
Yeah. But interestingly, it is the same card that you get in the Easy 8.
Right.
You actually get that same card.
Yes. So it is a +2 firepower, -1 initiative, but you get high explosive. So this is the big gun.
Yeah.
It's the big gun.
Yeah, and I've since the inclusion of the SPGs in wave, was it 9?
Yes.
Yeah. I've come to whichever wave it was. I've come to a newfound appreciation for the high explosive rule.
Yes.
Because on the face of it, it didn't look very good, but then when you actually dig down into exactly how it works with the mechanics and the timing of when you
discard,
you remove dice and stuff, It's not actually as bad as it seems.
No, it isn't. It can actually be, and we can go through this on another video, but it can actually be quite damning. It can be. Right, moving on to the engine module. So we've got the Ford GAA. It costs 2 points and can be fitted to the Jumbo and the Easy 8, and it gives you a 2+ initiative in your movement phase, which is actually the same card as the
That's interesting because this is essentially the same card that you got in the Easy 8, but the Easy 8 didn't have this.
The Watt number is the same.
Yeah, so
the number at the bottom here, I'm not sure if you can see it on there, but this says WOT238.
The gun is the same, actually. Neither of them mention the Jumbo, but the new version of the card does. So
that's odd.
That's kind of like a retroactive errata almost.
Yes, but it's very odd because essentially that card should be valid for those, even if you've got the old card.
Yeah.
But that's very odd.
Yeah. Yeah, I would hope that they would put out an FAQ to say that, to add that line of text to the previous versions of those cards.
Yes.
So,
because quite literally the Watt number is the same.
Yeah.
The WOT number is the same, therefore the card is meant to be used for that.
Yeah. Well, now we've seen
we've
seen them like future proof.
The Jagdpanther has been on a card for the last 4 waves.
Yeah. Yeah,
so,
and we've seen them do that kind of future-proofing, but for them to do this retroactively for a change is a bit...
It's different.
It's different, yeah.
So what we're going to go on to now is another gun module. So this is one that is only available for the Jumbo, and it gives you 1+ firepower and -1 initiative, but costs you 6 points.
Yeah. So with this card, it's now bringing you up to that firepower that the Easy 8 has, and you're still maintaining
your survivability.
That survivability for an extra 6 points.
I'm not sure because I swear you can increase your survivability.
But
with less.
In effect, it's only an extra 5 points because if you were to take the Easy 8 over the Jumbo, it costs 1 point more to take the Easy 8. So you're only in effect now spending an extra 5 points to get that extra firepower, but maintaining that survivability.
Yes.
That's worth taking.
Yeah. The turbocharger, this is something that's been in a few tanks now.
Yeah. But it is one that is really useful card. I use this on a lot of my builds, and I use it on multiple tanks. So it's a good card to have multiples on.
To really increase your initiative during the movement phase for 4 points, it's really handy.
Yeah.
So we've been through it before. Medium tanks get 3+ initiative, and all other tanks get 2.
Yeah, I mean, I almost always have in every platoon I ever run. I almost always have a turbocharger and an improved rotation mechanism on one of my medium tanks.
So this is the unique crew for the Americans in this tank, and it is Tony Meacham. He has snapshot and concealment.
Good old Tony.
For 8 points, you get a tank without an assault gun, gets 2+ initiative during the shooting phase, and an additional survivability while in cover. I think individually those add up to just about 9 points.
Yeah.
So you only really save... I could be wrong on that. This is just off the top of my head. But you could only just be saving yourself very few points there.
I would have to double check.
It's okay. Yeah. It's fine. Right. So that, my friends, is the Sherman Jumbo for you. We will be now going on to our next tank. So we're going to take this tank and put it to one side. Okay, now we're going to move on to the British Achilles tank for this next part. So here is the tank, the British Achilles tank, and let's unbox it. It's not coming out. And there we go, everyone. This is what the British Achilles tank looked like. I'll pass this over to Ian to get his thoughts on it.
So this is very much the British version of the American Wolverine. So this is a tank destroyer, turreted tank destroyer. It's a tank I've been meaning to pick up, but actually haven't got round to, because in general, there are better tank destroyers out there than the Wolverine for the cost. Yeah, I actually kind of like this.
Okay.
It's a really nice. It's got a really nice profile, sort of like body shape wise.
Yeah. It's a smart looking tank.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's bring in the tank card. So we have the British Achilles tank. This is a tier 6 tank again, and it is a tank destroyer costing 51 points. Immediately, I'm drawn to the 6 firepower. For a tank destroyer, that's what you'd either expect a 5 or a 6. Yeah.
Well, this was another one of the British experiments as to trying to fit the I can't remember, was it the 9-pounder? The gun that is on the Firefly. And this is the same gun. They just tried fitting it to various different American tanks to see what worked. And this was one of the ones that actually kind of worked out for them.
Okay, so a tank destroyer, as you might know, it gains an additional survivability while in cover. It has 6 firepower, 1 survivability, 2 mobility, 5 initiative, right in the middle there. To be honest, this is pretty much what I would expect from a tank destroyer. This is right in there, right exactly where it needs to be. 5 hit points with 5 crew slots. Something to note is 51 points for... This is quite a powerful tank. Looking at it, it's... I mean, it's not going to be competitive with your heavy tanks, obviously.
No.
But to destroy a heavy tank while sitting in the woods, its sniping capabilities are quite good.
The big question for me is, would I take it over the Firefly? And I think that's got to be the big... Because they're very similar stat-wise, very similar points-wise. Is it worth taking over the Firefly?
It's based... I would say it's based upon the actual gameplay you're doing. So if you want to keep it stationary...
Yeah.
Right? Obviously, you're re-rolling all your missed hits if you're keeping it stationary, and you're getting the additional survivability inside woods. And then if you put that, is it the camo net? You get an additional survivability when you're stationary.
Yes.
Now that probably, I think that will bring you up to 1 point more than the Firefly.
And you can get the crew card concealment as well. So
yeah, so
as long as you're in cover, you get extra cover as well.
It literally depends how you want to play.
Yeah.
So they are very, very similar stat-wise, but one will benefit you for taking hits, and one will benefit you for moving.
To be fair, though, if I'm sitting back and hiding, we're just talking British only here.
Yeah.
If I'm wanting to sit back and hide in the woods, I think I'd rather run a pair of archers than take the Achilles.
I can't remember the point cost of the archers off the top of my head.
They're really cheap.
But they are glass hammers.
Oh, they are, which is why I'd run 2.
No,
pay the little bit extra. So the archers 28 points each.
I don't know. I think the Achilles would win out for this on me. Because don't forget, you're defending against both archers. You're defending against both archers. This is cheaper.
Yeah, I still can't see past the Firefly. That if I'm wanting that 6 firepower, then there are a lot of decent upgrade cards that you can only put on medium tanks that make the Firefly exceptionally good at what it does. Okay,
fair enough. Yeah. Fair enough. Right, let's have a look.
But yeah, it's good. I mean, it's slightly cheaper, like
3 points cheaper.
3 points cheaper if you're those 3 points short of including a Firefly in your platoon after you've added everything else that you want to add. Then by all means, take the Achilles over it.
Yeah.
Because it will save you those 3 points that you might need for something else. But if you've got those 3 points spare, personally, I'd just go with the Firefly. I mean, the Firefly is by far my favourite tank.
Yeah, it is one of my favourite tanks as well. Right, we go on to the upgrade cards. So we have got a gun module, engine, the improved aiming, concealment, and a unique crew card. So first of all, we've got the a 17-pounder gun, giving you a -6 cost for -1 firepower. That is interesting.
See, now we're talking that I might actually run it at that price point, because now you're paying 45 points
for 5 firepower.
For a 5 firepower, which you can hide in the woods. It's got reasonably good initiative.
Yeah.
Reasonably good mobility. I would actually run the Achilles
with the -1 firepower.
With the firepower downgrade.
Yeah. Okay, moving on. We've got the 4GAA engine module. That's weird. It's the same engine module as in the Jumbo. Literally the same.
4GAA. Yeah.
4GAA costing the same point, but it's for the Achilles. How odd.
Very odd. Obviously, they were...
You said it was a Wolverine.
Obviously,
you said it's
there
a
was
Wolverine
crossover.
body.
Yeah, basically.
Okay, so that cost 2 points.
You'll see the difference if you bring back the other one.
That's the American flag and the British
you
flag.
got an American flag. Yeah.
But to be honest, you could have just had a combined flag like you do get on some of the consumable items.
That's true.
And that's 2+ initiative in the movement phase. Right, improved aiming. Now this is a nice card.
Yeah.
This combined with the card in the with the turbocharger, like.
Yeah, I mean the turbocharger doesn't give you as much benefit on a tank destroyer as it does on a medium, but it's still a worthwhile thing.
Yes. So improved aiming, cost of 4 points, and for tank destroyers and SPGs you get +3 in the shooting phase. I always run this card when I've got an SPG or a tank destroyer on the table.
Yeah, if you want that quick access to shooting bonus initiative and that, this is good. But this is a generic card that can go on any tank destroyer, so it's not specific to this tank.
Yeah. Concealment, that's one we've seen before. 6 points for 1 while in cover.
In fact, that was very much the card we were talking about just a moment ago.
Yeah, I thought it was 4 points though, so I got that desperately wrong.
Yeah.
Right, and unique crew card is Marcus Quincy. It's got situational awareness and call for vengeance. For 6 points, you get +2 initiative across the board. That's really good. When this tank is destroyed, all other tanks in this platoon gain 1+ initiative until the end of the next turn. That's good.
For 6 points, you know what? I would buy this tank just for the crew card.
That, ladies and gentlemen, is the British Achilles, and it is shaping up to be quite a significant tank. We're going to move on now to the Russian tank. Okay, and as if by magic, we have just disappeared these cards down here, and we are going to bring along now the Lozas M4A2 Sherman. So this is a...
Probably pronouncing that entirely wrong.
Yeah, probably. This is a Sherman that the Russians had. Now, do you have any information about this?
I don't off the top of my head, but we'll have a look at the blurb.
Yep, so let's get this tank out.
I know that there was a lot of, especially late war, there was a lot of sharing of like resources and that, especially once Russia heavily got involved in the war.
Once they started pushing the Germans back to Germany, yes. This is a nice tank, actually. The turret looks huge.
This is actually interesting. Hold on.
Okay, so let's tell me about what the card says about this tank.
Okay, so this is actually quite interesting because it's saying that this tank was actually a specific tank manned by a specific crew that actually gained some notoriety while it was being manned during 1945. It was manned by the crew of Dmitry Loza, future hero of the Soviet Union and commander of the 1st Tank Battalion of the 46th Guards Tank Brigade. Of the 9th Guards Mechanized Corps. So it's really interesting that they've picked out this tank, not as a tank that was generally widely used, but a tank that gained notoriety because of a particular crew that crewed it.
Yeah, that's cool. That's awesome. Maybe they'd made some at-home modifications.
Quite possibly.
Right, so let's get into the stats of the tank. So what we've got is the tier 6 yet again medium tank. You can re-roll those hits, re-roll those miss hit. It costs 55 points. And there's one massive thing here that is poking out straight away, and that is the mobility and the hit points. Okay, so we can compare this to the jumbo straight away in a moment. But I'll go through the card. It's 5.5 firepower, survivability of 1, mobility of 3, initiative 6, and 6 hit points.
Yeah. Basically, this is an easy 8 with a souped-up engine.
Yeah, effectively. The Easy 8's got 5 hit points though, hasn't it? Or has it got 6? I'm pretty sure it's only got 5.
Let me double check.
I will compare it to the Jumbo. It's also in Wave 11. And the cost difference is 11 points. There's quite a substantial cost difference. But for that, you're gaining 1 firepower. You're losing 1 survivability. Yeah. You're gaining a mobility, which in the game of World of Tanks is huge. Having the ability to move in an additional mobility is massive. Initiative of 6 and 6 hit points. You're getting 1, 1, 1, 1 for 11 points. That is a lot.
Yeah, it is an easy 8.
It is an easy 8, but you get extra you get additional mobility and an additional hit point.
Yeah.
And what's the cost of the easy 8?
45.
So there's literally 10 points difference.
Yeah, but you're getting...
Yeah, the additional mobility and the additional
you're getting
hit
that
point.
and I think a different 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2,
same amount of crew.
Yeah, same crew.
But at the same time, you have the ability to use Russian crew.
Yeah.
Which some of their stuff is actually quite...
if you're mixing factions, this is just a better Easy 8.
Yeah. Right, we'll do an in-faction comparison to what is considered to be the closest tank to this one within the Russian faction. And we have got the T-34-85 and medium tank cost of 49 points. And literally the only difference between these two tanks is the initiative and the hit points. So for an additional 6 points, you're gaining 1 initiative and 1 hit point.
I'd pay for that every day of the week.
Yep.
Yeah. I really like the T-34-85. I think the Loza is...
a better tank?
Better, yeah. It's just straight better. I would take the Loza.
Yeah. Okay, fantastic. Right, let us go on to the upgrade cards. So first of all, we have a large first aid kit. Not even going to go through this because it is a standard consumable upgrade. Improved rotational mechanism, 3 points, and you get for the tank destroyers, medium tanks, and SPGs, you get +2 initiative during the movement phase and +1 initiative during the shooting phase. This is a card that's definitely well worth it.
Yeah, once again, along with the turbocharger, this is one of the cards that literally will find its way into every platoon build that I ever do, and it will always be on one or multiple of my medium tanks.
Now, Smooth Ride is actually a really important card, especially if you're doing a lot of movement on the table, because providing your enemy with additional defense die is actually really bad.
Yeah.
So, but it is quite expensive. So this driver card costs 8, and it's Smooth Ride. It means that your movement tokens count for 1 less when calculating the target's defense pool. So that is quite significant, especially if you are moving free across the table.
Yeah. I find it quite expensive for what you're gaining.
Yes.
A lot of the time I don't have a spare 8 points.
That's a fair point.
To throw in there, but if you do, it's not bad. It's not a bad card.
There's probably better cards you can get, to be honest.
It's a really nice ability. I just wish it was a bit cheaper.
Yeah. So what we have here is relaying 6 points, radio operator. At the start of the shooting phase, choose another tank to gain this tank's base until the end of that phase. That is very, very important. It gains the base stats of this. They do not swap. Which there is another one out there that swaps. This is, you can give an SPG the base of 6 straight away.
Yeah.
That's quite significant. That's not a new one either, though.
No, it's not a new one. I'm wondering though, is it a new one for it to be on its own card? Because I've seen this on named characters. I could be entirely wrong on this, but I'm not sure if I have that card as a separate card in my collection.
Ivan Revinsky. Now, I'm sorry. I apologise if I've said that incorrect. 11 points. That's quite an expensive gunner card. Designated target and Deadeye. When shooting, the defending tank does not gain the in-cover bonus if they have already shot in that phase or has a movement token. That's important. Deadeye, draw 2 critical cards for the first critical hit scored by this tank each turn. The shooting player chooses which one of these cards apply to and discards the other.
Those are 2 very powerful abilities that a lot of people do run together, or try to run together, on one card. And
but it is an expensive card.
It's expensive, but I do believe that individually those 2
are quite expensive.
And a lot of people do run those 2 cards together.
I run Deadeye a lot.
Yeah.
Deadeye single-handedly has destroyed tanks for me.
Yeah, you're getting a lot for your money there, like a hell of a lot.
Yeah. Okay, that is the Russian Loza's Sherman. Next, we're going to go on to the tank that most people are waiting for.
Yeah. This is the big one.
Jagdpanther. Okay, so now we're going to move on to the German Jagdpanther. Now, this has been a tank that everyone has known about probably for the last 4 waves.
Yeah.
Because some of the upgrade cards mentioned it.
Yeah.
And it's been a long-awaited tank, and everyone is keen to see what is inside. So let's get on with it.
Everyone's been sitting on that engine upgrade all this time.
Yes. They want to just use it, just so they can.
Yeah. Well, I haven't actually pre-seen these cards and that, so for all we know, that engine might actually even be in here. So.
Right. It is huge. This thing is massive. Let's just compare it to the Jumbo. It just dwarves it. It really does. The footprint is massive.
Yeah.
It's a really nice looking tank.
Yeah, it's a pretty thing, and this is probably the most well-known tank destroyer from World War II, behind the Sturmgeschütz, or the Stug as we know it.
Okay.
But yeah, this is probably the most well-known tank destroyer from the Axis forces.
Fair enough. So, is there any information on the back?
It's just mostly sort of technical when it went into production and stuff. People know about this tank. This is a well-known tank. They produced nearly 400 of these things, and yeah, it served well.
Okay, so what we've got here is we'll go through the tank as normal. We've got the Jagdpanther. It is a tank destroyer. It is a tier 7, the first tier 7 out of this wave. And with tank destroyers, it gains the 1+ survivability while in cover. And costs 68 points. So it's not a cheap tank destroyer. So let's go through the stats. Firepower 6, survivability 2, mobility 3. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Initiative 4 and hit points of 6. 5 crew slots. Obviously, it's an assault gun. Let's
I don't even know what to compare this to, because this actually fills a hole that was in the sort of the German tanks for the game of World of Tanks. The only things that we can really compare it to are the Jagdtiger and the Nashorn, but it literally kind of fills a gap halfway between the two.
Yeah. So we haven't. My fault. We haven't got the actual tank card for the Nashorn here, but we have got on a next to us the Nashorn costs 37 points, so it's literally 31 points cheaper. You get 6 firepower, 0 survivability, 2 movement, 3 initiative, 5 hit points. The survivability, the movement, the initiative increase, and the hit point increase, 31 points. Yeah,
you're paying almost double for this tank over the Nashorn, but you're getting double the amount of tank.
Now, the closest tank we can possibly think of, really, that we've got to hand, the Jagdpanther. They look similar, but they're completely different tank. One is focused heavily on armor, basically.
Yeah. I mean, they're chalk and cheese. They're not really comparable.
No, they're not comparable. It's just they've both got Jag in the name.
Yeah, and that's why the Jagdpanther is such a significant tank to be released for World of Tanks, because it fills a gap in the lineup of the German side. If you play faction specific.
Yeah, you've got 107 points compared to 68 points. The difference is 1 plus firepower, 2 plus survivability. You get 1 less mobility and 2 less thing, but your hit points go through the roof with 10 hit points. Difference here is it gets big gun and light flank. So that is a comparison between these two Jags. But to be honest, you can't really compare. They're two completely different. They are tank destroyers, but they've got two different purposes. This one is meant to stay on an objective. This one is there to hold, do not move. This one here is to get to a location.
Well, it does the same thing, but on a budget.
Yeah, but this one here is to get to a location and stay still in cover.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah, you've got the maneuverability to get this into a position that you need it to be in.
Okay, let's see what upgrade cards we've got.
I think my big question has to be for this, would I rather run the Jagdpanther or 2 Nashorns? And there's an argument to be made for either way, but yeah, it's a toss-up.
Okay, so we've got a gun module, that's the 10.5 centimeter pack L52, costing 7 points and gives you 2+ initiative. That's good, but there's other cards that do the same job for less points. And, you know, when it's a tank destroyer, 3+ initiative.
This is interesting, though, because I've not seen this on a gun before where it's just a flat initiative bonus.
Oh yeah, because that's within the movement phase. Or actually, that's a really good card.
It's just a flat initiative bonus, and you can combine that with other flat initiative bonuses.
Yeah, that's true.
That
raises it up to a 6. That's not bad.
It's quite. It becomes quite expensive,
yeah.
though.
Yeah.
What you're looking at, 70.
There's other tanks that can do the same job.
Yeah, you're looking at 75
points.
5 points.
Just to get 6 initiative.
Is that worth it?
Time will tell.
It might be.
Okay, so on to the enhanced gun laying drive. This is not a new card either. It costs 2 points while stationary or while the tank has a single movement token. It gains 2+ initiative in its shooting phase. That's not bad, especially on a tank destroyer when you're not really going to be moving.
Yeah.
But with a tank destroyer that's got 3 mobility, you want to be moving. It's just, that's one of the reasons you're going to be taking this tank.
Yeah. I mean, you're looking at what now? Getting up to a initiative of 8 in the shooting phase.
Yeah. That.
Yeah. And you're only paying. You're now up to what? 77.
Yeah, 77 points.
77.
And you've got initiative 8. Yeah. Heavy APC armor shell. Not going to go through that. It's a card that's been around forever.
Pretty standard. Everyone's got piles of those things.
Sixth Sense. 6 points. It's a commander card. And this is a card that's been around for a while as well. But at the start of the shooting phase, roll a die on a hit or a crit. This tank may make a single move. This does not increase the movement token. I use 6 Sense quite a bit.
Yeah, I do too. Because I run quite predominantly British tanks. There is a British character that costs 6 points that has 6 Sense and another ability.
One, yeah.
So I tend to run that.
Yeah, using that on a tank destroyer with an assault gun is really helpful.
They've missed another opportunity though to include the generic clutch braking.
Yeah, but the thing is, clutch braking and that are pretty much... Clutch braking, you can turn. This, you can move and turn.
But clutch braking is a lot cheaper.
That's true. Right. The unique...
Whereas the clutch braking as well is a guaranteed, whereas that only happens on
yes, that's very
50-50
true.
dice
That is
roll.
a very, very true. Marcus Finesse...
Yes.
Marcus Finessi. Finessen.
Yeah, it's probably in.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
I can hardly read English.
Yeah.
We
We apologise to any German audience.
It's a unique crew loader, and it costs 8 points. Now you get safe stowage and intuition. Safe stowage is a +1 initiative during the shooting phase. Discard to cancel an ammo damage critical card. Now this is strange. How can I discard this card?
Yeah, I don't.
If it's a unique crew card.
Well, you
You
discard it and you lose all the abilities.
Is it I can't use this again, or is it I lose this one as well?
You lose the whole thing. You
Wow,
discard the card. I don't like that
No.
ability being on that
No,
card.
I don't. I would like clarification to this. Whether the spirit of the rule, the spirit of it might have been, you just don't get safe stowage anymore.
And safe stowage is like a 1 point, 2 point card on its own.
Because if it's a case where to arrow damage, you discard this entire card for it, then I will just take safe stowage.
Yeah. I don't like that ability being on a named character, especially an expensive one.
I would like I said, I'd like to see it clarified, because it could well be that the intention was that you just can't have safe stowage anymore.
Yeah, I mean it's a nice extra thing to have. I'd rather lose him than have my tank blow up.
Yes,
but I wouldn't
That's a fair point.
I wouldn't take this card for that ability.
and intuition. So at the beginning of the shooting phase, discard an ammo upgrade card and gain 6 initiative for that phase.
It's okay.
But at the same time, it's an expensive card for a single use.
Yeah, I mean, yes, you can load up.
And you need to take along a ammo card as well. So you're either spending 1 point or 2 points for each ammo card.
Yeah, and with the safe stowage, you get extra. It's wet ammo rack when you get extra. It's at best you've got 4 ammo cards on your tank, and a lot of the time I don't want to be wasting them on just being able to shoot first. I want to use the ammo to get the extra firepower.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I don't rate that card.
Okay, everyone. So we've unveiled all of the tanks. That is the Wave 11 tanks. And to be honest, there are some really nice tanks in here.
Yeah, there's some good options.
Almost all of them have got a reason to take them.
Yeah,
which is nice.
Yeah, I mean the Achilles slightly less so, but taking that downgrade to make it a cheaper tank for slightly less firepower makes it reasonable. But yeah, for the most part, they all have a pretty good function.
Yeah, so that is Wave 11. It is due out this Saturday, which is the 20th of May. So not too long until you can get your hands on this. There are some lucky people in the world that have managed to get their hands on it earlier because Gale Force 9 shipped them. That's amazing for them. And what we've got next to look forward to is in July, there is another round of Platoon expansion packs coming out. One for every faction. So that's going to be 3 tanks in a new pack for every faction, which is really cool. So we'll be doing a review of that once we get that information through. Now,
the big question though is Battlefront. When are we getting other nation tanks?
Yes,
it's the question that most of the sort of local community ask is: when are we getting Italian tanks? When are we getting Japanese tanks?
Did China have any tanks? Must have.
Probably, yeah. Almost definitely.
Yeah. So yeah, there is other nations we can do.
Yeah.
Right. That is Wave 11. If you'd like to tell us what you thought about these tanks, please do leave it down in the comments below. And there will be a link to the Griffin Gaming online store where you can order these in. We do ship to the US and UK and some of Europe. So please do consider giving that. And we are discounting these from launch day, so make sure you don't miss out on that discount.
Yes.
On a different note, if you are happening to be in the UK around about the 8th of July this year, Griffin Gaming is hosting a event called GriffCon. And that is an annual convention where we bring together the pillars of the community from the streaming and YouTubers in the hobby, and we do painting and gaming there. We have been very, very lucky to be awarded from Battlefront Miniatures, who are the owners of Galforce 9, the official status of the UK's first official World of Tanks tournament.
Yay.
So, yeah, that is absolutely massive. So, at GriffCon, if you want to enter into an official one backed by Battlefront Miniatures and Galforce 9, come along to GriffCon. There is...
links in the description.
Links will be in the description of how you can sign up to this tournament. Come visit us, come say hi, and have a great game at the UK's first official World of Tank tournament.
Go, click it, do it now, click it.
Thank you for joining us. I've been Brendan Mills here from Griffin Gaming, and this is
Ian from Gas the Hut.
And why don't you hit that subscribe button and that bell notification so you don't miss any future updates. Thank you very much, everyone, and we'll see you next time. Goodbye.
Bye.